So there is a Seahawks game on right now that I have been following on and off, but I'm here. I'm here for the audience. I'm here for you, Jay, and I'm not watching a Seahawks game right now.
Wait, are you or are you not?
I'm not. Not watching it.
Sus.
I'm not watching it. Okay? Not. I'm going to stay here with our lovely audience and you and stuff. So.
Why?
Apparently I like doing this. Honestly, this is a great distraction. Again, I told you, man, work has been such a dumpster fire this week that like I need to do anything else. I need to adjust my headphones. There we go. So what is this note you've got in here about MTV? What, like, MTV was shutting down?
Yeah, so if you're like me, you might have seen a lot of social media out there talking about MTV is finally done. The end of 2025, they're shutting down completely. And I don't know, after 30, 50 years or whatever, MTV will no longer be a thing. I fact checked this, and this is actually not true. They are closing down some of their channels, like MTV Music 80s, MTV Music 90s. I guess there's like MTV channels where they actually do play music.
Oh,
yeah.
What do you know? What do you know?
So weird. I don't know. It's weird, but those are shutting down. MTV is focusing on reality TV shows.
Well, they've been focused on reality TV shows for the better part of 2 decades. I'll be honest, I have not watched MTV in so long. Like, I honestly could not tell you off the top of my head when the last time I watched MTV was. I really can't.
Yeah, I was definitely like a little kid. I used to watch MTV and VH1 like legit for the music videos and like, you know, the hot new song would come out. Yeah, I want to say for the past like 20 years, like haven't really
I watch music videos on YouTube now.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's where I watch I love music videos. I still watch a lot of music videos, but I watch them all on YouTube. Right? Are there somebody in the audience tell me if there is still a daggone music video channel? Is there actually any channels out there that still do music videos? Or am I we're stuck with YouTube? That's what we're doing.
Everything's YouTube.
That's fine. You know what? I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. Okay. You know what? That's what we got for the cold open. I'm okay. You know. Jesus fuck. The stupid Seahawks game is tied right now. They were down
you are watching it.
No, I've got the little tracker up in my widgets. Because we can't do that because this broadcast is copyrighted the National Football League and can only be blah, blah, blah distributions rights with the express permission of the National Football League. So I would totally do it. I would do a sports show. I love sports. We've talked about that on this show before. I love baseball. I love football. I like hockey.
Yeah, I could do it. Oh, look. They hit the ball.
You like sports. Yep. You've gone to baseball games with me.
Now they're running around the diamond. Oh, didn't make it.
Don't do it. Don't encourage the sports ball jokes, okay? By the way, if you're out there in internet land and you're still making those like, ha ha, sports ball, go team, like that joke was dead 15 years ago. It's 2025. It's about to be 2026. That joke is dead. Please don't make that joke anymore. Okay, I'm begging you. Begging you. Okay. You
talk to your wife. Your wife does it.
All right. She's a giant sports fan too. She lies. All right. Well, with that down, coming to you from our live weird home studios, it's the Error Code Show for December 18th. Your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. If you want to support the show, you can use Prime subs. If you're watching us on Twitch, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Prime sub with your Prime subscription. So you can use that to give us Amazon's money, or you can just sub and you can donate subs. You can do all kinds of stuff. That's a great way to directly support the channel. We're like this shy of 2,000. My real goal right now is to get us to 5,000 subs. For everybody who's watching us on YouTube, comment, like, and subscribe to those videos when you're watching that on YouTube. It really helps us defeat the algorithm gods. And that is like the ultimate final boss of content creators. And be sure to also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere else at Error Code Show. With that out of the way, let's jump into our first segment tonight. And boy, we're back on this topic again. Okay. Warner Brothers Discovery's board has officially now rejected Paramount's hostile bid. And they have issued a letter saying, hey, we are recommending to the board that you reject this bid. Okay? So, why did they do that? They're doing it primarily because the deal isn't backstopped, right? What does that mean? It means that right now, the way that Paramount's describing how they're financing this, Warner Brothers is like, do you actually have the money? Because we're not sure you have the money. Because a lot of what they're using to backstop this is a revocable trust that's owned by Larry Ellison, the father of the head of Paramount, Skydance. And a bunch of the people who've been putting money in and out of the revocable trust keeps changing and changing and changing and changing. And so right now, Warner Brothers is going, look, Netflix's deal, we can see their balance sheet. We can see their cash. We know what's going on. Okay? So, yeah, that's why they're rejecting it. Okay? So Jay, I'm going to start there. What are your first thoughts on that?
Yeah. So showing the group chat. Oh, I can't do that one. If I just do this one, it's like weird, but like there's a question in the chat. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, yeah. We'll do that right after the segment.
Eggnog.
Let's do that after the segment.
Eggnog gone. Yeah, so I find this very interesting, and this is like one of those cases where like you realize you didn't know what you didn't know until you start looking into something you actually care about. So like I would have thought when they submitted the bid, right, like it would have been very clear, oh, okay, you have the money or you don't have the money. I didn't realize that there was this like process in the background to actually evaluate. I guess it was kind of like when you go to buy a house, right? Like you get pre-approved up to a certain amount. And then yes, there's a lot of paperwork on the back end that takes like up to 30 days, but like you kind of already have proven that you have the money before you actually go and talk to a realtor. But so it's a little weird to me that like Paramount made an offer, but then like didn't really have secured financing to finance that offer. So like, what are you doing? I mean, like at that point, like Alex and I, we could have just like submitted a bid like, hey, we'll buy you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we could have come up with the financing either. But yeah, this one looks a lot shakier, right? And so that's the official reason they're doing this. Zaslav's also talking about kind of the when they were going through this process, some of the weird stuff that Paramount was doing that made him uncomfortable. And he was like, look, we can't talk about this. We're not having this discussion. It's inappropriate in the acquisition process. And again, there's some weird crap going on here. So here's another interesting part of this story, right? Because obviously we're in hostile bid territory. And again, as we reiterated in one of our previous episodes, which we'll put a card up here about that, the board is not the only one that has to approve it. The thing has to go to a full vote of the shareholders. If you are a shareholder in Warner Brothers, you get a say. And so here's the other thing that I think is really interesting. Netflix launched a new website. A brand new website called Netflix WB Together, right? And it's really pretty, right? And so it says, defining the next century of storytelling together, right? Netflix and Warner Bros. We got Harry Potter with 11. Okay, I like it. Complimentary offering, more choice and greater value. I'm not sure about that. More opportunities. I'm not sure about that. Here's the thing. What they're saying. So they've got all the transaction details as to how they're paying everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Everything. Okay. What they're saying right now, what Ted Sarandos over at Netflix is saying is Netflix was not in the movie distribution business. We didn't do theatrical because that's not what we did. Warner Brothers is in the movie distribution business. Therefore, we're going to leave Warner Brothers alone. We want them to keep doing what they're doing. Look at and he brought up this year, Superman, Minecraft, Sinners, all these, the movies that Warner Brothers had a great year. That doesn't happen if you don't put them in theaters. So Sarandos is saying, no, it's going to be run as a separate division. There will be cross-pollination, right? For sure. But we weren't in the movie distribution business. Warner Brothers is. We need this. And he's saying because Netflix is not a traditional studio, because what happened with, like, say, the Disney acquisition of Fox, Disney has a head of PR, Fox has a head of PR. They don't need two. So one of them gets fired, right? There's a lot of crossover. There's a lot of layoffs at these things. One of the things he's being really specific about is he's going, we don't think there's going to be a lot of layoffs here, right? Because Netflix and HBO and Warner Brothers are two very different companies, right? So we want to keep them separate. They're complementary. We need this, okay? He's saying a commitment to the theatrical experience, right? We're going to leave them in theaters just like Warner Brothers is doing today. He's got a letter to the shareholders here, right, that they sent out, okay? And they're saying, look, this is why we want to do this, right? So I thought this was a very interesting move by Netflix to really, they're going after the shareholders. I think they're going after this politically. But ultimately, Jay, like, now that you've seen that website, like, what do you think of kind of Netflix's tactic here?
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of like this. This is trying to control, like, the narrative, because I've read so many comments about, like, oh, like, Netflix is going to take over WB and they're going to, like, lay off people and they're going to, like, take it over and they're going to fuck up HBO or all of this shit. So there's, like, a lot of negativity towards this deal, which I think is, like, from Paramount's end, right? Like, you want to kind of spread misinformation here and try to make Netflix look bad and have the people turn on Netflix. Keep in mind, like, people have turned on Netflix in the past. There's been a lot of scandals, but anyways, so yeah, this is kind of like a PR move. Like, they're trying to control the narrative and be, like, very upfront and be like, no, here's the facts, here's what we're doing, blah blah blah. So I think it's a great move.
I'm gonna go back to this real quick too, because I think this is neat, because they've got, like, all their presentations, all their infographics, all their press releases. They're like, here you go. We are going to open the doors for you guys, right? We're going to, look at this. This thing is, yeah. So they've got the full deal overview here, right? This is what we're doing, right? Here's the transaction summary. So if you own one share of Warner Brothers stock, as an example, you're going to get $23.25 in cash and $4.50 in Netflix stock, right? Once the deal's done, right? And the other thing is again, they're not trying to buy CNN. Paramount wanted the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Yeah.
Netflix is like, we don't want that. We don't want any of the TV stuff. None of it. Which is again why I think they're transacting this as a better deal for the shareholders, because the shareholders will still get a part of that deal when they spin off the other company. Right. Yeah. The more I hear, I was worried about Netflix buying it. Obviously, we were pretty concerned about that. And as we said in another show, I don't know if Sarandos is lying. I hope he's not. I hope he's telling me the truth. But if he's not full of it, I don't see a downside right now for them. It's kind of a good deal for both sides.
Yeah. And I don't think he's lying, at least about that part. Like it just makes sense for them not to fuck with WB and just kind of like keep them going. Yeah, no, this is great. I like this.
So yeah. Anyway, obviously we've been covering this a lot. Let us know what you think. Or have you visited the new Netflix, WBTogether.com? Are you interested in this? Do you think that Paramount's going to somehow swing this out? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Boop. Okay. All right, drinks. I have eggnog. I had bourbon in my last one, but I stopped drinking so I could do the show. And I, of course, have my cranberry ginger ale from Canada Dry. Hashtag not a sponsor, although if they wanted to, we would take their money. Them and AMC. Right?
You know, yeah, AMC. That's yeah. You're right there.
We're very businessy tonight. I'm looking at the next segment.
We are very... This is what happens when I have too much time on my hands.
We're very businessy tonight. Okay, we're going to talk a lot about business, but here's the thing. I think this is a good thing because sometimes I see y'all comment on stuff without that background in business, and it drives me a little crazy. Anyway, Jay, why don't you take us into our next segment?
Yeah, so another topic that we have covered in the past that we haven't really provided an update on recently because, well, there's been no update, is the TikTok stuffs. You know, that's like the app people dance and stuff. Yeah. So it appears that TikTok is to sell the U.S. portions to an U.S. investor group controlled by Oracle Silver Lake and affiliates of ByteDance, each holding 15% of the company, and ByteDance retaining 20% of the company. So ByteDance is the large Chinese technology company that is globally known as the parent company of TikTok. And if you recall earlier this year, this is where the issue kind of came up. So the concerns raised by U.S. officials and others globally aren't really about ByteDance as a business, but about national security and data privacy. So mainly because of its connection to China. And with that, like the Chinese government can just tell ByteDance, hey, give us all of your information, and they have to legally abide to that. So that's where the issue originally kind of originated. A separate concern that is ByteDance controls TikTok's powerful recommendation algorithm, which decides what content is shown to what users. There are some officials that argue that the algorithm could be used to manipulate and influence opinions or spread disinformation. And I don't really like this argument because that's like all social media at this point. Like, let's get real. But anyways, like I said, so it appears that an agreement was reached. So they're going to have this investment group that's going to control a little over 50% of the US based thing. They are going to oversee the algorithm use and also the data security aspect of it, only for the US side. And the original parent company that's in China is still going to own and maintain 20%. So, Alex, what are your thoughts here?
So I have two thoughts. One, I don't see the point. That's my first thought. Like, why are we doing this? Y'all were so upset about ByteDance owning this because ByteDance is owned by the CCP and blah, blah, blah. Okay. ByteDance is still going to own a large portion of the company. ByteDance is keeping almost 20% of the stinking company. Like, so I don't. And so basically, you're paying the Chinese government a crap ton of, or a Chinese company a crap ton of money, right? They're still going to have major ownership in the platform, and Oracle has to pay to license the algorithm from ByteDance on top of that, right? So ByteDance gets more money. There's still a deep connection to a Chinese company. And what was the fucking point?
But Alex, it's such a great deal because now we get to keep TikTok and we get to pay for it. Look at that.
I love TikTok, right? I use TikTok all the time. I think TikTok is a great application. Oh yeah, I love TikTok, right? I had like fucking 3,000 followers on that stinking platform. Love TikTok. No.
Do you dance in your videos?
I do not. But I like TikTok. I've always liked it as a platform. I've grown more fond of it as Twitter has gone more and more and more and more into a dumpster fire hole.
That's not true. That's not true. It's going into a cornfield.
Yeah. I don't see the point. Also, this relates back to the last segment, because of course Larry Ellison can't backstop the Paramount deal. He's got to buy TikTok. Right? And he's got to backstop that deal more than he's got to backstop a Paramount deal for his kid. Right? Yeah, no shit, you can't backstop the Warner Brothers deal. You're trying to buy a very large portion of TikTok. By the way, Oracle, Silver Lake. See, this is. I want to go over the deal real quick. Okay, this is driving me nuts, and this is why I say, what the fuck is the point? Okay, under the agreement, ByteDance keeps 19.9% of the business, right? Oracle, the one that they're trying to help, they get 15%. Silver Lake, the investor company here, they get 15%. But oh wait, the Emirati-based MGX, remember we were talking about all these wealth investment funds, they get 15%. And then existing investors into ByteDance, it gets split out, 100,000 different ways with the existing investors. So put that aside. So Oracle is going to own less of TikTok than ByteDance does. And it's still owned by a Chinese company, at least in part. What? It really looks like the administration here just got rolled. The Chinese government basically got everything they wanted, I think. And then again, they still have to pay a licensing fee for the algorithm, which is the value of TikTok. In fact, it was a TikTok that I made like a year and a half ago. Because when the guys from Silver Lake were talking about this, they were like, well, we'll buy it without the algorithm. And my response was, it ain't worth shit without the algorithm. It's just a video uploading site. The algorithm is what gives TikTok its value.
Yeah.
Which they can, again, still subtly manipulate and do shit with. And again, like you said, not so subtle manipulation from, say, Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, right? So for me, I did that. Oh, well. What's the point?
Well, it's just a great business deal from the Chinese side.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, for them. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, not for us. Yeah, it's kind of like stuff like this. It really kind of makes you wonder, like, which politicians on our side is like, getting something in return for this, because like, I don't know. This just seems a little weird to me.
Yeah, I honestly don't get it. Again, in the related thing, question from chat, do you think Paramount's going to back down from Warner Brothers? I'll be honest, I'm not sure. It really depends on whether they think they can get the Trump administration to fuck it up. That's really what that comes down to. That's less about money, more of a, oh, that's a nice deal you have there, is to be ashamed if something happened to it. You know, that kind of situation. This deal is going to get approved, right? Because Larry Ellison is a massive Trump supporter. Massive Trump supporter. So I have no doubt that this deal is going to get done. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Jay, after what I just read, again, do you see why I'm going, what the fuck is the point? Like, am I losing my mind here, or am I stupid?
No, I definitely see it. It doesn't super make sense. I don't know, but we also live in like the Trump administration, so yeah.
All right. Do you have anything else to add to this particular story? Are we good on this one?
Yeah, I think we are good on this one. But yeah, the point of the story, we get to keep TikTok, which Dog Dad pointed out, it's really just Alex and all the other 13-year-old girls.
I'm telling you, it's a huge platform. If you're not on it, you're making a mistake. Anyway, what do you think, internet at large? Am I losing my mind, or is there basically no point to this deal? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, TikTok's. So here's what I like. I like TikTok because of this. So when you go onto Twitter, you get a lot of people who are, it's really easy to stay anonymous and, be a troll and da-da-da-da-da. The cool thing about the way TikTok is, like, if you're doing like social, political, all kinds of fun commentary, there's kind of a cultural thing on TikTok where if you're in the comments section of somebody's video and you don't have videos yourself, you basically don't get to have an opinion. Does that make sense? Like, if you're going to go hide out there anonymously and do this crap, no one cares what you have to say on TikTok, right? Like, your shit gets pushed to the bottom of the comment section because, again, you're not willing to put your face out there, right? So the only thing that matters is, are you willing to be out there as who you are and make a statement? You know what I mean? And yeah, I really, it's something I really enjoy about TikTok. I get less of the trolls. You know what I mean?
Right. No, yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, I guess you're just gonna get like the 13-year-old girl trolls that are just gonna be like,
but even they don't troll. They don't troll. They do their own thing. No, they do their own thing. They're all doing get ready with me's and makeup shit, right? There's whole side. That's what's actually really interesting about TikTok. It doesn't silo, so you'll find your way into weird spots like every year. So I'll give you an example, and this happens to everybody on TikTok. Every year in the like spring, summer, right? Everybody on fucking TikTok ends up on SEC Rush Talk, right? Where all the fucking SEC fraternities and all the sororities that are doing all their big rush shit, like that shit floods TikTok for like 3 weeks, right? And everybody picks sides. There was a big one that went around the other day about the quarter zip trend, which was interesting for many reasons. I didn't want to bring it up on the show because it's not really our place to discuss. It's that. And to kind of answer a chat question, so if I don't want to make videos and I want to participate in the discussion, fuck me. No, it's if you choose to be totally anonymous, right? TikTok does not reward anonymous trolls. TikTok does not reward anonymity. TikTok rewards you. It's being out there. Which again, I think makes it, I find that like the political shit tends to go less psycho on TikTok than it does on every other platform. Because again, you can't anonymous troll your way through it. Anyway, The Seahawks just went to overtime, which annoys me. I fucking hate
No.
overtime. Stop doing overtime. Overtime sucks. No one likes overtime. Okay. Just stating for the record. Okay. We don't have a confirmed ambassador to the UAE. That doesn't surprise me. This administration is a clown show. By the way, did you see the Vanity Fair article this week? The shit that went on with that?
No. What?
Oh,
What's
yeah.
happening?
Oh, God. Maybe we should have covered it. It was really heavily covered. Well, maybe we'll do it later. Why don't we move on to our next one? This is you too.
Oh, wow. More
Yeah,
J.
man.
Do
This
it.
is you
Free
too.
J.
All right. Let's rock and roll. Chase, take us into our next segment.
Yes. So, Harrison Ford, if you're a fan of this show, then you should know who that is. Anyways, so the SAG-AFTRA,
SAG-AFTRA.
that needs to, yeah, we gotta work on that acronym. Jesus. Anyways, that group, I'm sure all of you know who that is, named Harrison Ford as its 61st Life Achievement Award. This is the guild's highest honor, recognizing both career excellence and humanitarian impact. So this is supposed to honor actors who embody the quote finest ideals of the acting profession. Past winners of this award included Tyler Moore, Sidney Poitier.
Poitier.
Poitier, okay.
Yeah, we need to work on that with you.
And a lot of other people. So Ford is also recognized for not only acting but also for decades of environmental advocacy. He is a longtime supporter and vice chair of the Conservation International uses his global platform to promote climate change and conversation or conservative causes. So like, you know, there's a lot of reasons why Harrison Ford is being awarded this award. Obviously, again, if you're a fan of the show, you know Han Solo, Indiana Jones. Those are both like very huge culture icons. He's also won the Critics' Choice Award, Achievement Award in 2024. He did get an Emmy nomination for Shrinking last year. I know Alex and I, we were both fans of that. But anyways, this is a huge honor. Obviously, it's going to Harrison Ford. The award's going to be presented at the 32nd Annual SAG Award, which is going to be Sunday, March 1st, and it's going to be streamed live on Netflix. Yay, Harrison Ford.
It's a nice, good short. Yeah. He absolutely deserves this. He's had a phenomenal career. I mean, you can't say enough about Harrison Ford's career. You just can't.
Right.
The SAG Awards are a big deal overall in the acting community. They're a massive deal because unlike the Emmys, the Globes, or the Oscars, the SAG Awards it is your peers. It is actors saying this is the best actor. This is the best supporting actor. This is the best actress. This is the best ensemble, right? So, and if you've ever like caught clips from the SAG Awards, they drink a lot, right? It's like a big dinner award show, and it's a lot of fun to get the clips from. So yeah, within the acting community, the SAG-AFTRA Award's a huge deal. Harrison Ford, obviously, again, has been in the business, 60 years probably? Something along those lines. So, yeah, good for Harrison. Good for him. So, unfortunately, we might have wanted to add that to the quick hit segment.
What?
That SAG-AFTRA thing. I'm like, what else is there to say? We love you, Harrison.
Yay.
Okay. Should we keep going?
Let's go.
All right, so we're gonna do my mission notes here. Okay. So, obviously, we have our segments where sometimes we get a bunch of topics that don't quite warrant an entire segment because there's not as much to say about them, but they're fun and we can talk about them a little bit. And this is our quick hit segment. First news, and I love this news. It means it's more real. I'll believe it when I see it, but it's still more real. Star Wars Starfighter has wrapped principal shooting. Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, who is doing the new Star Wars movie, announced on Instagram today that the movie has wrapped principal photography and is now moving on to post-production. I am now approximately 8% more convinced that this movie is going to happen. Jay?
Yeah. I mean, it's progress. I don't really know like all the different steps of how like a movie becomes a movie. Like no one did like a little song like I am a bill.
Okay. That's fair.
So like maybe you do, but like go into more detail. So like they wrapped, principal shooting.
Yes, that's where we have cameras and we're pointing them at actors, right?
Okay.
We're done with that now. Okay. Now it's CGI, sound design, music design. They chop the film, they take all those scenes, they put them together into a cut, and they go, okay, here's the movie. And they watch that, and they go, oh, cut that part out and add this part in. And then they do it again and again and again. So that's post-production, which honestly is the longest portion of the filming process, especially for something like Star Wars Starfighter. But after thinking about Ryan Gosling and Project Hail Mary, which is coming out next year, and Star Wars Starfighter, it's got a good cast, and I trust Sean Levy. But you know how Lucasfilm has burned us many, many times in announcing movies and canceling them. So when they finally finish principal photography, I'm like, okay, maybe we're actually going to get a movie this time. I just want a new Star Wars movie, Jay.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
I don't think that's wrong of me.
All right. So we're looking at like in the next 5 years, maybe.
I think it's set for 2027. Because Mandalorian Grogu comes out this year. Okay. Next one. After nearly 5 decades, the Oscars, the Motion Picture Arts, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts, the Academy Awards, which is the biggest movie awards every year, it's not going to be on ABC anymore. Starting in 2029, so their last year for ABC is 2028, they're moving it to YouTube. Boy, there's a bunch of little interconnections in tonight's show. And I'll be honest, when I heard that was where they were moving it to, I was like, what? I didn't see it coming. Jay, do you watch the Oscars? Right? And would you be more apt to watch the Oscars if it was on YouTube and not on whatchamacallit?
ABC?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do not typically watch the Oscars. I will watch funny clips or whatever on YouTube, but like I've in my whole lifetime, like I've never actually like it never was a thing. Like my dad didn't want to watch the Oscars, so he's not going to turn it on. But like, yeah, I don't know. I just like could never get into it. Like now I would probably like want to see like probably a YouTube video of just like everyone's outfits, like boom, 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 boom. Cause I do like to see like how people dress for events like this, but that's also on YouTube. And I'm not going to lie, man, like this doesn't shock me because I had this weird bombshell right during Thanksgiving, if you recall. No one that I worked with who are like 21, 22 stuff, that kind of age frame. They didn't know what the Macy's Day Parade was. None of them. And I was like, what the heck? And then I realized because they're like, no, we don't have cable TV. We just have streaming and YouTube. And it's like, oh. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm curious how the production is going to change once it moves to YouTube. We got a couple years to find out, but I'm very, very interested to see about it. Okay. Last one. The new trailer for that, we've talked about this a bunch of times. Spielberg had some mysterious movie that nobody knew F all about. Well, we finally have a trailer and a title. Disclosure Day released its first teaser trailer. It stars Emily Blunt and a bunch of other people. I thought it looked simultaneously creepy as heck, mildly weird, and maybe cute because there's some animals walking in the snow. I honestly, I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, I
You watched it right before the show.
right before the show. It did kind of give me some goosebumps. It was really odd. It was really weird. Very intriguing. Because you're kind of like, is it aliens? Is it like demons? Is it, what are we doing? Are we doing like Matt Damon with the knowing where the trees in the wind kill you? Like what it's happening? But yeah, no, it looks sick. I like it.
I mean, it's Spielberg, so I'm gonna give it a shot, right? Because even on his worst day, you know, it's Spielberg, so we'll give that a shot. I don't know. I said I want to know more. I'm gonna watch it, but this one I was like, what the hell is going on? And then there's the part where the animals are just walking toward that house, and you're like, what is happening here? I'll
watch it.
I can't. I'm gonna watch it, Spielberg. So anyway, that's our 3 quick hits for the night. Star Wars Starfighter's done. The Oscars are going to YouTube, and Spielberg's got a weird ass new movie coming out. Have you heard about any of these things? You got any thoughts to share with us? Go ahead and throw it down into the comments below. We actually haven't done this yet, so I'm going to go back to the chat. Hi, chat. How are you? By the way, if there's any topics you'd like us to cover, please go ahead and throw those into the chat, and we'll try and get to those at the end of the show. We always try to bring in that stuff. If you're in our Discord, you can always go in there and put chat topics in the Discord. So throughout the week, while we're preparing for our next show, if you like something or you're interested in something, go ahead and throw it down in the comments below. Or throw it in the chat. Well, you know, all those things. Jay was up on it on the rundown tonight. And you really got to break this one down for me because I'm really tempted to be like, do I care on this next topic? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you should care, but let's dive into it.
Let's find out.
So talking about YouTube, so on December 17th, the decision to stop providing streaming data to the Billboard would be in effect January 16th, impacting the charts dated January 31st. So what does this mean? So YouTube is saying, I actually did not know this, but this does kind of make sense. So YouTube sends information to the billboards, and that's like, you know, your number 1 song, your number 10 song. Recently, we cared about it because K-pop Demon Hunters like shot up to all the billboards. But YouTube is stating that this is no longer going to be the case. They are no longer going to report their streaming data to the billboards for their ranking, which does not make any fucking sense because I'm going to use K-pop Demon Hunters, which is insane online, but probably is not going to get like a lot of like radio time. I don't really know, but like it's always been super popular online. Like it didn't go into the theaters at first. It was on Netflix. So anyways, so there's some sort of clash here between the billboards and YouTube. Let's see here. So we have streaming makes up 84% of US recorded music revenue.
Okay. So
that is like right there, a pretty huge like indicator or like input. This does appear to be a breakdown in negotiations. YouTube is openly criticizing talks with Billboard, agreement over how streaming data should be valued and weighted. So there is a much bigger debate here about subscription versus free streams. So like those that subscribe to YouTube and then those that do not, and you get the ads. So on one side, evidently, there is the argument that if you pay for YouTube for no ads, then your views should count more than people who haven't.
Who is saying that? Is it Billboard or YouTube?
It looks like it's YouTube. Because Billboard wants to measure music activity accurately, right? Like they don't care who's like subscribed to YouTube and who's not subscribed to YouTube. So that seems to be like the big kind of clash here. And this is why like they are parting ways and like YouTube is no longer playing ball with the Billboard, which again, to me, just doesn't really make sense because you're going to go watch, you actually stated it earlier on in the show. You're going to watch your music videos on YouTube. I don't know.
YouTube is one of my number one places to just listen to random music, right? I have thought about getting Spotify free, but Spotify, like unpaid, free Spotify sucks. You have to pay for Spotify to make it a fucking usable, a usable function. Okay. So anyway, go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So the impact on the artists here, YouTube heavy artists could see chart drops. So as you pointed out, there's a lot of music on YouTube. Just random music.
Mm-hmm.
That might like get played a lot less on the radio. So like without that input, you're gonna see like a decline, obviously. And this is going to impact like independent, global, viral artists. They're going to be the most impact. Like obviously when, I don't know, like Madonna comes out with a new song, it's going to shoot up in the charts or whatever. Lady Gaga, maybe better example, but like, versus, I don't know, insert random artist that's like going viral on YouTube. Bah. So like next steps, the first Billboard charts without YouTube data is going to be January 31st. And then obviously here we do have like a potential industry response to this issue. And then someone's going to compromise on some end to make them like start talking to each other again.
Yeah.
That's what we're kind of looking for.
Yeah. I definitely think it'll have an impact. I mean, ultimately, I see where you're going, right? And you're right. If you're not reporting that, then there's a lot of music artists who, yeah, I don't think it's an accurate representation of how much people are listening to it because of how big YouTube is as a platform, right? We talk about the biggest streaming services. Is it HBO? Is it Netflix? Is it this? It's actually YouTube. For sheer volume of regular users and people who just are on that fucking platform all the time. It's YouTube. YouTube's the biggest streamer in the world. Okay? They just are. So yeah, taking that away is a huge deal. I'll be curious I want to look at some side-by-side numbers after that first Billboard thing comes out. Like, yeah. I'm really curious now. You know. So, yeah, I really want to know why they're fighting. Like sometimes these things are dumb. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes they're just doing this, and YouTube's claims because Billboard changed their math. Right. Okay. So it was actually the opposite. Billboard counted paid views, right, ad free, right. So if you were a subscribe, like if you have YouTube Premium and you don't watch ads, Billboard counted those streams as a higher rate than ad supported. Not by much, but It was already bad, but I don't understand why you would make that distinction, Billboard. Like, somebody's going to need to explain that to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess this is like we're just stuck in the, pay for play model
world. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why actually I'm going to go back to like box office numbers, right? The reason I love box office numbers is they're independently verified, right? We know how much money people spent seeing movie X, right? We know how much it was domestic. We know how much it was worldwide. And it's all independently verified so that the studios can't, like, poke their fingers in it. You know what I mean? I think we should be able to at least have an accurate method of figuring out how many people listen to a damn song.
No.
Daggone it, America. Daggone it. All right. I don't know. Can we stop these corporations from doing this crap? Let us know down in the comments below.
Nope.
We're at the end of the rundown. The Seahawks just scored a touchdown. I'm not sure if they're going for 2 for the win or if they're just going to kick the field goal and let the game stay tied. I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to go look back and look at that in a minute. Per chat's request, I am going to talk about Rob Reiner. Okay. So last Sunday, Hollywood got smacked in the face. Legendary actor, director, producer Rob Reiner and his wife were found dead, murdered in their home. It is now basically about today. Their son made his first court appearance and has been charged with the murder of his mom and dad. Very, very sad situation. If you think you have not been affected by Rob Reiner's work, I would tell you are wrong. A lot of times you guys hear me talk about like kind of the movie canon, shit you have to watch to call yourself a movie fan. Rob Reiner's directed quite a few of those. Let's talk about some of them. Stand By Me. Princess Bride.
Yeah.
When Harry Met Sally. And by the way, in case you were thinking, this guy does comedy. No, A Few Good Men. He directed A Few Good Men. The American President. Ghost of Mississippi. The Bucket List. Being Charlie. LBJ. I mean, this. Andy was an actor. If you remember the movie Wolf of Wall Street, he played Leonardo DiCaprio's father in Wolf of Wall Street. He also was in a lot of his own stuff. Famously, he won 2 Emmys for his role as Meathead on All in the Family, which was a groundbreaking television show back in the 1970s. Rob Reiner, I mean, he did just so much. Again, so many movies that are all-time historic great films, right? Misery, in case you also thought he couldn't do horror or thrillers, right? The guy could do everything. His directorial debut was this Spinal Tap, right? Yeah, it's a very, very sad situation. He had actually been very open. His son has struggled with mental health and drug addiction for a very long time. In fact, they made a movie about it together when his son was being sober for a little bit back in 2015. They made a film based on his son's struggles with addiction and mental health. The other thing that kind of broke through on this is Trump, of course, in his classic, because Rob Reiner was an outspoken Trump critic, and so Trump, without, just this whole thing, he was like, well, obviously he died because of Trump derangement syndrome, right? Because nobody in his staff was willing to be like, hey, by the way, he was killed by his son, so shut the fuck up, right? Actually drawing some pretty significant rebukes from various people in the Republican Party going, too far. Again, if you think you haven't seen a piece of his work, I would challenge him. Like, no, you've seen at least a few pieces of his work. So yeah, it sucks. He was amazing. I don't even know where to start with that. Yeah. Thoughts, Jay?
Yeah. I do agree. Like, you can't talk shit right after someone passes away. Like, I 100% agree with those like Republicans who are like, oh, that was like a little too far. So it's, I don't know, it's a real shitty thing. And yeah, to like, I mean, obviously your own son supposedly, allegedly murdered you and your wife. Yeah, I don't know. This is not good.
Yeah, it just sucks because, again, he was such an amazing, accomplished artist. And I don't know. I don't think guys like that are replaceable. And again, I think that there's a lot of his films that are must watches for any movie fan, in the history of film. So, yeah, it sucks, especially this kind of situation, because Rob had other kids, and this family is torn apart forever, and that's terrible. So, rest in peace, Mr. Reiner. Thank you for the great films. Again, A Few Good Men. You can't handle the truth without Rob Reiner. You don't get I Was Mostly Dead without Rob Reiner. You don't get My Name is Inigo Montoya. You Killed My Father. Prepare to Die without Rob Reiner. Like, the guy was amazing. He was fucking amazing. So, anyway, we're going to leave that there. Well, let's check it. Oh, hey, the Seahawks won by a point. They did go for 2. I'll have to go look at it later. Those goofy bastards went for 2 on that last one. Yep, they went for 2, and they beat the Rams by 1. That has major NFL implications. Major implications across the entire fucking NFC. There's a reason it was a primetime Thursday game, too. This has huge implications across the entire conference. So, I'm sure people are like, what the heck is going on? So, anyway, Seahawks win at 38-37 in overtime. So, congratulations to the Seahawks. I'm sure I would have been having a heart attack had I been watching the game. So, you're right. Thank you, YouTube chat. It never would have been turned up to 11 without Rob Reiner. That is true. That's where that came from. Yeah. I guarantee you there is at least one movie you've seen by Rob Reiner that you love. Jay, do you have a favorite one of those that I listed off? Because I think you were like trying to connect it at first, and then when I was like, these ones, you were like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think The Princess Bride, right? Like that is probably my favorite, but there's so many. So he did so many movies. But yeah, I would have to say that one. What about you?
It's gonna be when Harry Met Sally. I love When Harry Met Sally. I think it is the quintessential rom-com. I think Nora Ephron's script, Rob Reiner's direction, I think Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan were perfect in the film, right? It's amazing. It is the best rom-com of all time. And it's just genuinely funny. Even if you're not a big rom-com fan, it's a good flick. Okay. Well, we ran into a problem, chat and stream. We're out of things to talk about. We cooked through topics this week, man. That shit happens. We will not be back on next Thursday. Stay tuned early in the week. we're gonna try and do something at some point next week. I don't know what next week looks like, but we will not be doing it on Christmas Day. My wife will shoot me if I try and broadcast on Christmas Day. In fact, I'm just gonna go Christmas shopping. Are you done with your Christmas shopping, by the way?
100%.
I hate you people. All you people who aren't shopping until the last possible minute. I'm gonna be out Saturday night like doing that shit. Australia's social media ban for youth. I looked at the story. I honestly don't have a lot to say about it. Mostly because Australia's a democratic country. They have a parliament, they have people, they passed a law. Whether that social media ban has a positive impact on the youth of Australia, whether it's even enforceable, whether they're able to structure it right. I mean, I don't think Jay would disagree with me here. I don't think you have solid results out of that, like knowing whether it worked for 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, like, I kind of really like it, but yeah, you're going to have like generations of kids go through middle school and high school, collect data, and then kind of come back and be like, yep, it was good, or no, it didn't really matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Social media for children is horrible. How do I put this? I have a daughter, right? She is tween age, right? She is fully a tween. I think that's the term. I know that's the term. I'm just joking. She participates in social media to a limited extent. I will tell you this. I would challenge anybody who's not like a Quaker and living in like rural Pennsylvania and riding around in a horse and buggy to keep their children off of social media. Like, good luck, right? I know some of them fundamentalist types do it, right? But yeah, I don't know how you keep. It's too endemic now. Now, again, do I think it needs to be controlled? Do I think that parents need to like monitor it and do that? And do I do all of that? Absolutely. But trying to keep your kids off of social media writ large, no, I don't think it's possible. So, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of we're getting into Christmas, so it's a light news week. You're not going to get a lot of entertainment news. Avatar Fire and Ash came out today. Advanced screenings are today. It's not getting very good ratings. Ooh, let's talk about this. You want to talk about its Rotten Tomato score?
Yeah, let's go. What is it?
I gotta bring that up into the other one. Hang on a second. I will tell you. It's not good. Comparatively speaking, not what you would expect. So actually, before I bring it up, before you look it up, what do you think its Rotten Tomato score is? With 209 reviews in.
Oh, 43.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
Oh, okay. Well, 63.
69. Making it the worst reviewed Avatar film of the three.
Wow.
It's not, no certified fresh, right? No certified fresh for you, Avatar. I watched one review from somebody I trust. Apparently it looks awesome. It's visually stunning. But it feels like he made Way of Water twice.
Oh,
it's
okay.
basically the same movie over again. You know, are you in any way excited for this one?
Not really. I don't know. Like the second one
was okay.
I watched and I was just like, that was a movie. Yeah, that was like a story. Okay. And I don't know. It kind of felt like, are we gonna drag this out like Fast and the Furious? Like what are we doing? So I kind of just didn't really. I don't really care.
So here's, and I'm trying to zoom in on this so everybody can see it. Here's the issue that I've got. And we've talked about this on the show before. The runtime for this movie is 3 hours and 12 minutes. 3 hours and 12 minutes with no intermission. And I'll tell you right now, that right there is enough to keep me from going like straight up to the, like, I like visual spectacle. I love the movie theater. This stops me. Because I'm going to miss a couple minutes of it no matter what I do. I can't make it 3 hours and 12 minutes unless I like dehydrate myself and like do some other stuff to like, so I don't have to go to the bathroom for 3 hours and 12 minutes. That's a long time.
I mean, you could just do like that one lady and just astronaut diaper.
I was going to wonder if you were going astronaut diaper with it.
Of course I am.
Yeah. Dude, if this thing was 2 hours and 40 minutes, I'd probably be more in line.
Also, it just kind of pisses me off because like when people say Avatar, I don't know which movie you're talking about.
You're
anymore.
thinking Last Airbender.
Right, yeah. But yeah, the first one obviously was super great and everything, but like it's kind of like Transformers when you see Bumblebee first stand up in the first movie, you're like, oh my God, whoa. And then the second one kind of had less of an impact, and the third one had less of an impact. And then you're like asking, you're like, oh, did the fourth one just go straight to Netflix, or was that in the movie theater? Like, so yeah, I don't know. You're just like not, you lost your like pizzazz that you had in the first movie, if that makes sense.
So that brings us actually to a good question, right? The highest grossing films of all time. All right. The top lifetime grosses. So Avatar is number one at $2.9 billion. Okay. Avatar: The Way of Water is number 3 at 2.3 billion, but that's still a 600 million drop from the first movie. So here's my question to you. With a runtime of 3 hours and 12 minutes, with this feeling like a repeat of Way of Water, I think everybody expects it to go down, right? But my question to you is, how much? Like, what does this movie gross? Knowing that Avatar 1, almost 3 billion, almost got there. Avatar 2, 2.34 billion. Nothing to shake a stick at. What does Avatar 3 gross?
1.9.
1.9?
I go 1.9.
Wait, so 1.9 above? So Spider-Man No Way Home is number 8 in the slot at 1.975. Does it beat Spider-Man No Way Home?
No.
Nope. So it's going to knock Inside Out 2 to number 10. And Jurassic World out of the top 10 grossing of all time.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, sorry. Because see, Box Office Mojo puts Neja 2 in there, and I don't. I'm with John Campia. I don't put that in there. 1.9. That's a huge drop. Do you think that Disney/Fox, while I'm sure they're going to make money on it, do you think at 1.9 billion they go, are we going to make the last two?
Ooh. How much are they spending on each Avatar movie?
Let's find out. Hang on. What was the reported budget? 400 million for Fire and Ash. Way of Water was 400. Let's call it 400 million. The first Avatar was the cheapest at 237. So in order for Fire and Ash as a solo film to break even, it's got to make $1 billion. Like, it has to make $1 billion, right? Now, the other thing is, I'm going to warn people, do not freak out if the box office opening numbers stay low. None of the Avatar movies have opened huge. None of them have, right? The original Avatar, which, let me remind you, is the highest grossing film of all time ever, period. Only opened to 100 million. Which is not great. And not what you would expect for a movie that made almost 3 billion. Avatar tends to have legs. It tends to last a long time. So I'm not going to be like, if it comes out and does like 110, 115, I don't think that tells us much. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. The original Avatar opened to 77 million. Less than that. 77 million is now the highest grossing film in the history of the world. Way of Water was 134, but did less. So Way of Water made 60 million more its opening weekend, but made 600 million less overall. So take that for what it's worth. So yeah, you think it's 1.9?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Well, then they'll keep going because they'll still make 900 million off of this.
Right.
You know, they'll be fine. Good job, Jimmy C. Let's see, and I want to look at chat. If you guys don't give us more stuff to chat about, we're gonna run out here in a minute. I don't think there's anything else coming out. Avatar. Oh, I want to see Marty Supreme. I've heard that's really good. It's gonna box office $8, but that's okay. You know what movie's really gonna flop?
No.
That Anaconda movie with Jack Black and Paul Rudd. That thing's gonna flop so hard.
Oh yeah.
For what it's worth too, everybody in our YouTube chat and there is like, not going to see Avatar in the theater. We'll wait for streaming. January and February. Ooh. They're doing a re-release of Fellowship in January. I will go watch that.
Nice.
That's fun. They're re-releasing all 3 next year. Yeah, I'll go watch those. That's fun. I want to see Nuremberg. That one's one I can't watch at the theater. I'll have to watch that one at home because I'm going to want to pause that one and think. And that I've heard it's really good and Rami Malek is amazing and I heard Russell Crowe kills it. But yeah, is Avatar IMAX only? It probably is this weekend, but they'll pull it out of IMAX pretty fast. So, could flop. All right. Well, with that, chat, I actually think we're going to cut it early tonight. Stay tuned to the Discord channel. We'll try and put up a post with the community tab too on YouTube because I keep forgetting to do that about when we're going to be doing something next week. I think it's going to be very like target of opportunity. Rolling into that, and if I don't know, yeah, it's Lord of the Ring IMAX only. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just a re-release. So. Jay, in case we don't see everybody before Christmas time, because it might be Friday that we come back, Boxing Day, as it were. If we don't see y'all before Christmas, have a happy Christmas.
Have happy little Christmas day.
Spend time with loved ones. Watch some Christmas specials. Do the Peanuts dance. Anyway, thank you for joining us, everybody, and good night.
Good night.
Bye.